Hey guys, how's it going? Today we are doing part 2 of our wooden planter that we created here. So if you guys are new to this channel, I am Brittany, aka the Mythical Mom, and welcome to the channel. I do all kinds of unboxing videos and review videos, gardening videos, DIY projects, things like that. So if you guys like those types of videos, consider subscribing. We'd love to have you. So today we are going to be planting this beautiful emerald green Arborvitae in our planter today. We are also possibly using some cabbages that I have left over, which are looking a little suspect. We'll look at those and see if they look good enough to put them in the container at this point. And I'm going to be using some decorative pumpkins that I have lying around just to decorate up the base of this tree a little bit and the rest of the container. I'm not going hog wild and buying a whole bunch of new things for this container simply because I'm going to be transitioning these decorations over to winter and Christmas decorations really soon. This is the beginning of November, but I kind of want to bridge that gap between now and Christmas time. I'm just not quite ready to decorate for Christmas just yet. So here is the wooden planter that we stained and sealed in our last video, part 1 of this container. If you guys missed that video, I will link it down below, and seeing this whole container come together and kind of the history behind it. This is a historically inspired wooden container, which is really neat. And so yeah, if you guys missed part 1, make sure that you check that out. But part 2 is planting it up. So inside here I have some potting soil, and I made a deep well in the center for our tree to go in. I want to plant this right in the center, not towards the back or any side or anything like that. I want it to be centered in our container. And like I had said earlier, we are going to be planting this huge, it's not huge, but it's pretty big, emerald green Arborvitae. And the reason that I picked this tree is because it holds this beautiful green color all year long. I love it. So these emerald green Arborvitaes I have planted in previous videos. If you guys have watched me before, I have several planted around my property, and I really love them. I was able to get my hands on 3 the other day. When I picked this one up, I was able to pick up 3 other ones that were a little bit smaller. And if you guys saw the video where we were working on a new flower bed in the front of my house, I picked those up for that flower bed. I got them planted the other day. They look amazing. I didn't make a video about it because it was like one of those days where you just had to get stuff done. So I'm going to show you what they look like in a separate video here in a couple of days. But I'm super excited about how they turned out and happy that I could find them this late in the season. So the reason I love emerald green Arborvitaes so much is because they hold that bright green color all year long. They don't bronze out in the fall, which is amazing. I love that bright green color in the middle of winter, and their super soft, fluffy appearance. I just absolutely love them. So that's what we have here today, and that's what we're going to be putting in this container. I think it's going to be gorgeous with some Christmas lights and just all the things. So let's go ahead and get this beast planted. Now the emerald green Arborvitaes are fantastic plants, like I said earlier in the video, but I wanted to give you a little more stats about them. If you're using them in containers like this, they are a great option for container planting. So emerald green Arborvitaes are a zone 3 to 2, depending on what site you're looking at. A lot of them say it's down to zone 3 or down to zone 2. Either one is a very, very cold zone. So whenever you are planting trees and shrubs and things like this in containers, you want to give yourself a little bit of a buffer. Okay, so say your growing zone is a zone 6, like I have here. You want to plant something that is rated for a zone 2 zones lower than your current zone. So essentially, I'm in a zone 6. I would want to plant something that's in a container like this that would be rated for a zone 4. That way it gives you a little bit of a buffer with your freezing temperatures, simply because they are not as protected in a container as they are in the ground. So you're going to have airflow around this, you're going to have wind. It's just going to get a lot colder in a container than it would if it was planted in the ground where it was just completely surrounded by ground and ground and ground. So if you plant something that is rated 2 zones lower than your current growing zone, then you are safe for planting that thing in your container. Now you can always take risks and do whatever you would like, but that's just what gardeners and garden centers and things like that suggest to make sure that you have success with your containers. So this tree that I am planting today is rated to a 2 to 3 growing zone. I'm in a zone 6, so I have plenty of wiggle room with the temperatures. Even if we had an extremely harsh winter, this thing would do just fine in this container. Now you can usually get away with leaving trees in containers for about 2 to 3 years. Sometimes I push mine to 4 years. It all depends on the tree, and it all depends on how it's doing in the container. You can usually kind of tell if it's starting to get a little stressed, or if the tree is just like bigger than the container. It's probably time to switch it out. I would not suggest going any longer than 4 years with a tree in a container, unless you're really not that worried about it and you would be okay with potentially losing that tree someday. One of the reasons that emerald green arborvitaes are so great for containers is because of their size. So emerald green arborvitaes grow about 3 to 4 feet wide. That's not very wide at all, and they're fantastic to tuck into flower beds and things like that, which I love to do with mine. But they're also perfect for containers because they're not going to get super wide and just this massive thing that you're going to have to contend with. They want to stay a little more narrow, and so they work out perfect for containers. Now the mature size on these is about 10 to 15 feet tall. So these will get rather tall, and like I said, you want to make sure that you're pulling them out of the container in about 3 to 4 seasons, just because they are going to want to get taller, and they're not going to be able to do that in a container like this situation here. The last thing I'd like to talk about with planting trees in containers like this is making sure that you are fertilizing them. So because they are inside of a container and they are not out in the landscape where they can really draw nutrients from all kinds of things around them and organic matter, you really want to make sure that you are fertilizing these trees. So I like to go in once or twice a year with something like a plant tone or a tree tone or something like that, which are by Espoma. There's many great products out there. I've mostly used Espoma products, so that would be what I would recommend. And making sure that you're giving these trees a good dose of food, at least 1, preferably 2 times a year. Well, that's it for this video, guys. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed seeing this container and the plantings come together. Soon we are going to be switching these out for some Christmas decorations, which I am super excited about. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one.